You might be wondering why I am sitting on the floor. Basically, I am moving out of my apartment and there's no table, no chairs, everything's been moved, just down to the last bits and pieces. It's been a strange experience, this whole moving apartment thing. At first, it taught me a few lessons about loneliness and what it's like to be in my 30s and alone, and I've spoken at length about that, so if you want to hear those stories then check my blog out, themoderngay.com. But the purpose of this video is one of spiritual learning. Often on my blog I talk about rational things and look at experiences from an analytical perspective, but there is this side of me that is quite spiritual. I've avoided going into that too much in my blog because I think it can be quite polarizing, and the moment you start talking about the universe and God and angels, you might start to lose some people's interest. So I've sort of kept that out. One of the lessons that I've learned through moving that has been more about the spiritual side of life. And that lesson is the lesson of attachment. Attachment to material things, attachment to things outside of yourself. I never considered myself, or recently I guess, maybe in the last few years, I never considered myself a materialistic person. I liked nice things, but as Oprah always says, we are spiritual beings having a material experience. So there's a balance in enjoying the material side of things without losing spirituality. And I thought I had that balance quite well sorted. I like investing money in experiences, I like traveling, but I don't really spend that much money on clothes or cars or anything that might be more of a sign of status. And so therefore I felt that I was probably beyond attachment to material things. But what I have realized is that that's not the case. This apartment that has been my home for 3 or 4 years has become so part of my identity in London that it is a form of attachment, and leaving it has been really, really challenging and really unsettling, because I feel like a part of me is being left behind. Now that shouldn't be the case, because everything I've learned about attachment is exactly that. Things outside of ourselves are so fluid and changing and out of our control that it's dangerous to put our trust in them and to associate our being with those things, because they can change and they can be taken away from us. And just like I'm experiencing now, this apartment that subconsciously formed a part of my identity is being taken away from me, and it's left me feeling a little lost. I've done a lot of soul searching, and I think what I've realized is that it's not just watches or clothes or cars or the real obvious material things that we should be careful of investing our identity in. It's also our environment, the world we curate for ourselves through our job, through the people we hang out with, through even our bodies and our apartments. It's those things that we should watch out for, that we don't get too attached to them, because all those things can change in the blink of an eye. We need to find happiness and truth inside of ourselves, in that part of us that is, was, and always will be, that won't change when our circumstances change, that godliness inside of us, that true identity, that spirit, that soul, that depends on nothing outside of itself for joy. While I'm still working through that in this scenario, I do feel that this unsettling experience has in fact been one of spiritual growth.